Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Professor Loki, and I got pinged. All right, so back to it. I'm gonna make a video talking about one of the more controversial or interesting topics about Smite. So we've had a discussion with like Fine OK and Beads, right? And how Beads is actually giving everyone free Beads is actually healthy for the game. Um, Although you could argue for more options, that's fine. But having free beads is not a bad concept. And then now I want to make another video talking about game modes in Smite 2. And I think that I have a. Of course, we all think we have the best opinions, but I think mine is far more sensible, and I will explain why. So basically, as you can pretty much read this on your own, but basically saying that do not add more game modes because the current Smite has so much bloat that affects the quality of games due to players being spread across all the game modes. You do not need nine game modes when games more successful than Smite do more with less. So there's a lot of wrong type of thinking with these statements, but let's focus on the first statement where he says that there's so many game modes in Smite 1 that it's basically spreading the player base thin, and therefore every single game mode individually have poorer quality. That's what he's saying. This doesn't make any sense if you think about it. If you are a conquest player, adding slash doesn't mean you are just gonna, be a hive mind and just go to slash, right? Um, you can go to my channel and then change it to old videos, and you'll notice that all my, like, pretty much 90% of my videos, or even more, are all conquest. And this was back then, back in season 1, where there's only like few game modes. And it doesn't, and I know I'm just using anecdotal, but it's not just me. It's a lot of people. People who enjoy Arena aren't just going to play Conquest by removing Arena. That's also true, right? So if you're an Arena player and you hate Conquest, removing Arena just means you will just stop playing Smite. It doesn't mean it's not like a colony game. It's not like a civilization game where you can just move the workers from one plot to another plot, right? It's you're not God, right? You're not controlling ants and their specific location. These are people with their own minds and their own opinions and preferences. And if they like a game mode, they're not going to stop playing it to only play another game mode. I mean, for instance, I played Clash recently. That means I'm not playing Conquest. But here's the fact. If Slash wasn't even a thing, I wouldn't even be opening up the game to play Conquest. I would just not play the game until I want to play Conquest again. So this isn't just him, by the way. I'm not talking about this person in particular. I'm talking about a lot of just generally people are saying the same thing, that having more game modes means less people in those individual game modes. People aren't insects. People aren't hive minds. People do not just simply say, I like Conquest. Oh, wait, Clash came out? I guess I don't like Conquest anymore, right? Now, here is why multiple game modes, is actually pretty much only beneficial. There's really no cons to it, besides the balance portion, right? Like with gods and stuff, some gods are better in some game modes, stuff like that. If, let's say, you played a game of Rank Conquest for like 2-3 hours and you're feeling burned out, normally what you do is you just close the game. But if there were multiple game modes like Assault, Arena, Slat, whatever, right, you're more likely to, play those game modes instead, keeping you active in Smite in the long run. The whole point of adding new game modes isn't to make the population more strict or like stretch it out, is to just simply add more, right? And the fun fact is that if someone plays this game, never played Conquest ever, doesn't even know what Conquest is, plays Arena first and really likes Arena, and then decides to go out of their comfort zone and try Conquest and then become hooked with Conquest, that's one more Conquest player, right? So having more game modes basically appeals to a bigger audience, therefore a bigger chance for those newcomers to also play Conquest, right? So, or really it's any game mode. It's not just Conquest, any game mode, right? Just Conquest is the main focus here. So I really think that anyone who says something like this, where they say that having too many players spread the player base, is just completely wrong, because they assume that people just are stupid, and they just, they naturally just spread even, right? It's not like that, right? Like that doesn't really make any sense. It's actually everything is more because now you have more people still playing Smite and playing different game modes rather than just tunneling one game mode, getting burnt out, and then just closing the game and then, playing it whenever you feel like again later. So don't think of it like this. Think of it as having more game modes means more opportunities for everyone to play, or for more people to play the game modes that they want. Having arena with conquest means people who like arena will play Smite, and they may migrate to our conquest, and it's not like a one-on-one thing, right? You can play arena and conquest on the same day. You can play. Usually, sometimes what I do is when I start my stream, I play one arena game or I play one clash game just for like quote unquote warm up. Right now, the warm up is actually not for me. It's to like when I start streaming, there's not a lot of people watching, so I play one game mode, have people come in, then I'll play the real game mode, right? Because the point of me streaming is so people can watch me play ranked. So what I do is I play one arena game, which is 15 to 20 minutes. People come into the stream, then I swap and play only ranked conquest until the end of the stream, right? So it's not so bad, especially when there's multi-queue in the game. So you can like queue assault, arena, whatever, right? You can queue multiple game modes at the same time, effectively merging the populations between those casual game modes, right? The only thing you can't do that with is ranked. So that's how I feel. And I think what I said makes a lot more sense than anyone who advocates against the game modes in Smite 2. Now, that of course doesn't necessarily mean we should have 50 game modes, right? Because then it becomes overwhelming and then it becomes like, what is this? Like, why is there 20 game modes, right? You want to have, it's like a restaurant, right? When you go to a restaurant, you don't want to see 50 menu items because that's like, it takes so long to read through all of them. It takes so long to like figure out, does this one have avocado in it? Does this have pickles in it? Does this have like, it's so confusing. A good restaurant menu should have really just a one, maybe double-sided menu, and that's it. It should be very short and quick. It shouldn't be like a freaking whole pamphlet because that's too much. And, by that definition, the quality of food does decrease because you expect the chefs to know all the recipes at once. But that part has nothing to do with the game modes thing. It's not like there's chefs behind Smite 1, right? The point is that it's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to have a lot of game modes. And I'm not advocating for 50 game modes. I think having 10 game modes in Smite, around 10, is a good number, right? I don't think it's too bad. Maybe you can have a little less, maybe you can have a little more. That's fine. But there is generally a good amount of list of games you can that a game should have, right? I know League, and because he mentioned here, says you don't need 9 game modes to be more successful. This might do with more, like, he's basically saying that because League of Legends only has like what 2-3 game modes. I think they have 2-3 game modes. I know they have ARAM, Summoner's Rift. I don't think they have an arena. I'm not sure. They only have like 2 or 3 arena, 2 or 3 game modes, and they're very successful. But honestly, success has nothing to do with game modes at all. So this works both ways. You can have a successful game with many game modes, and you can also have a successful game with no game modes. Halo has a lot of game modes, right? Call of Duty has a lot of game modes. These games are considered successful. So the argument doesn't make any sense. It has nothing to do. Success is not determined by the game modes, right? Some game modes would be better than others, of course. But that has nothing to do with what he's trying to argue. He's like saying, he's implying that because League of Legends has fewer game modes, that must be the reason why they're doing really, really well, or one of the reasons why they're doing so well. That's just not true. It doesn't really make any sense. This is my opinion. That's all I'm going to say. I think I've said my piece. I just want people to understand the other side a bit more, because I think this side that I just spoke is far more logical and more like when you think about it, you realize, oh yeah, that's true, right? Like, I don't know. Anyways, tell me what you guys think about this, and tell me why you think that Smite should have less game modes and why that's better for the game. Hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all next time. Take care, stay safe, be cool, peace.